Hi guys, how are you? Welcome back to my garden. Today I want to take you with me on a tour and show you my bearded iris that I grow in the garden. You already see the first one here in my back on the terrace garden. And the beautiful thing about bearded iris, not only do they come in a big range of different colors and heights, they also come in different flowering seasons. So you have varieties that bloom early, then mid-season and late. So by choosing carefully and different kind of bearded iris, you can really extend the season in your own garden. The way on how I want to structure today's video is, first of all, I just quickly want to tell you how the anatomy of iris actually works, how to plant them, where they like to thrive, and then definitely tour you around and show you all the different colors that I grow in my garden here. So I hope that you're excited to spend some time with me. First of all, I really want to explain to you how a bearded iris actually works, and to understand the plant better, we have to go all the way down here to the base of the plant where you see the rhizome, because this is very important and this is where the energy of the plant sits. The rhizome, you can see it is half exposed, so it's not buried, it's not a bulb. Just half of the rhizome is under the soil and the other half sits above soil level, and this is important because the rhizome loves to bake in the sun. And this is also where iris love to grow. They want to grow somewhere in full sun and with poor soil. The rhizome, and now I come in with my stick here, this here is the old rhizome from last year. Last year, a flower, leaves and a flower spike came out from this side here, but this year this is no good anymore. What happens is, then in the next year, it produces side rhizome, so all the way around here you can see it. So this variety is definitely very vigorous. All these new rhizomes here, they come in with fresh new leaves and then also with stems and flowers, which happens only this year, which means that by the end of this flowering season, I can come in, dig them up and divide them, because this old rhizome from last year is no good anymore. This is never going to produce any more leaves or flowers. So all the new life comes from these rhizomes, and then they will grow outwards and do exactly the same thing to what this rhizome did here. If we continue now looking at the plant, you see these leaves. The leaves, they are very pretty. They are in a bluish, greenish tone, and they appear very early in the year. Unfortunately, slugs and snails also love to munch on these leaves when they are fresh. So it is always a good idea to check if you have any slugs or snails trying to munch on them. If the bearded iris is very happy, then you see that these stems are appearing. And on top of it, this is where you have the flowers. Depending on the variety, every stem can produce between 3 or even 7 to 8 flower buds. In a lot of these spots, you see a fresh bud appearing here, but there is a second one in here. So even when this flower is spammed, you can just snip it out and then a new one is going to appear. Here you see the flowers, and the flowers work quite easily. Here, this is the fall and the standard, which is a top leaf, the petal, and this is the sepal, can often have different colors. Here is a very nice example with an ombre effect, like orange burnt caramel toffee on the outside, and then berry and purple towards the center, and there in the center you also see the beard. The beard, this is what gives the bearded iris a name, and the beard also often comes in different poppy bright colors to attract pollinators into these flowers, because whoa, now comes the wind. These standards have they are built a dome basically. So you always have 3 folds, 3 standards, 3 beards, and then in the middle of these standards, this is where you have the anther, what you see here. This is where the pollen sits, and then here is a stigma. So basically in here, this is where the pollen has to go in order to trigger germination of your bearded iris. You can even do it by hand, and it is a fun project and a fun thing to do and try and test out in your own garden if you want to create new bearded iris that the world has never seen before. Here on the terrace garden in the back of my property is where I grow most different kind of bearded iris. All but one are in bloom, so I can show you every single variety. Most of them I know the names, but 2 of them unfortunately I don't, because when you order, sometimes the suppliers are so nice to give you a free gift, and I forgot to write down actually what that was. But here up front, I luckily know what this variety is, and that is one of my favorite bearded iris varieties. It is called Nelly Tard, and I think you can see quite instantly on why I love it and why it works so easily, and how easily you can combine this bearded iris with different blooms and different colors in your garden, because this bearded iris combines a lot of different colors in one single bloom. You see there are shades of like orange, burnt caramel, berry, purple with an orange beard, and then these petals in a really beautiful lilac tone, grayish lilac, even with a little hint of a yellow inside. So here in a combination you see how well they work, for example, with Napata in the back, with bluish petunias, or even with a clematis like that. The next bearded iris variety is unfortunately one of those where I cannot give you the name, so we can only enjoy the beauty of these blooms. I think that was gifted to me by one of the suppliers where I ordered my bearded iris normally online. I would heavily recommend you to order at Iris Caillou in France or at Iris for You from Germany. I know that she is from America originally though. There are in the US also amazing breeders for bearded iris, and a lot of the varieties that I grow are actually bred in the US. All the other varieties mainly are really from Iris Caillou. This variety here is lightly scented, and the beauty of it is how it combines different shapes of blue and yellow, so you have the complementary contrast here. So purple falls, then the standards are light violet with a very soft yellow corner. The beard is in a bright orange. And what I can show you too on these varieties is how it works when you have a spent flower and when you have a fresh new bud appearing. So here you go, this is a spent flower. So you come in with your thumb like this, and then you hear this little cracking sound, you just snip it off. So this is for the compost heap, and then it leaves room for the fresh new flower to appear. But just take a look at them. They're really pretty. They're quite tall. The problem here is because they're so exposed to the wind that they just really need to have a companion where they can lean on. But rather than that, especially now in the sun, I think this is a perfect time of the day to look at them and enjoy them, because they really have a lot of beauty in different colors. And again, I think that they are very easy to combine, for example, with Napata or with other purple or yellow flowers in your garden. The next bearded iris that I want to show you is called Superstition, and I think you can tell already from the back how incredible the impact of this very dark bearded iris is. This is one of the darkest varieties that you can possibly find. It is very dark and rich purple, almost black, very sinister. It works beautiful with the pink rose in the backdrop, but again also with violet from the Napata, or also if you combine it with white to make this dark color pop even more. The variety was bred in 1977 by Schreiner, so it is a variety that has longevity and it is popular, and I can tell you why. Not only is it very beautiful in color, if we take a closer look at it, it's very intriguing sometimes to really pay attention to the details on bearded iris. So you can see that again, the fall has different colors towards the center. There is a light marking. The beard is really beautiful purple. There's a little bit of orange in here. They are scented extremely well. A single stem produces a lot of flowers, so this is going to flower almost endlessly, which makes it very interesting. The one thing that you have to be careful though, if you tidy it, don't wear anything precious because they stain. And these stains are almost impossible to get out of your clothing again. Still, definitely worth growing this variety. Another tall bearded iris variety is Fluffy Pillows. It is a very incredible and pretty bearded iris, and it is the first time that it came to bloom in my garden here, mainly I think because I was transplanting these rhizomes quite often, but last year it moved in here for good, and this year it rewards me instantly with these beautiful flowers. They are quite different to other bearded iris, I would say. When you take a closer look at them, you see that the stigma is actually exposed. So the petals, the standards, they are open on this variety here. The standards, they are in a creamy whitish tone, and then the falls, they are in a really intriguing blue, depending on the time of the day. They are sky blue. So they work quite pretty if you combine them with true blue flowers, as I just did in one of my previous videos here, with these steely blue salvias. And I think the steely blue salvia looks extremely pretty with the bluish foliage of the bearded iris. A fun thing is on some of the bearded iris varieties is that if you take a closer look at the foliage at the base of the plant, you see that the leaves are actually a little bluish. So this is an indicator that the actual blooms will also come to flower in a blue or in a reddish shape, and this is exactly what happens here. Very, very pretty, so I would honestly highly recommend try to grow it in your own garden if you get a hand on these. Unfortunately for me, this variety hasn't opened the next flowers yet. This is Oat Live Well. So I have photos for you so you can at least take a look at the photo and see why I think this is a really interesting iris, because again, it combines violet with a very soft buttermilk yellow, and this is very lovely because when you have bearded iris, I have two colors, it's always easy to combine them, for example, with other blooms in a yellow or in a blue. So if you're looking for a really nice variety that has very soft pastel colors, a very pastel yellow, this might be the right variety. The next bearded iris that I want to talk about is an early variety, as you can clearly see, because there are hardly any blooms left but two. This is a variety called English Cottage, and it is one of my favorite. I grow it in big clumps here in the midsection of the garden. And the reason for it is I think it is a very delicate and soft and beautiful bearded iris, which combines a lot of colors in one bloom. So they are predominantly white, but then they have this little bit of a pale violet, especially towards the center. Incredibly nice, very dark purple veins, and then the beard is just a touch of yellow. So really lovely, very lovely to combine also. So if I just step back again, you see when they were all in full bloom and I had a big clump of these. On the left there was Nepeta, or there is still Nepeta. So again, a really lovely combination because the Nepeta is violet and then you have this touch of violet in the bearded iris. What I have to do though now is come in, cut back all of these and flower stems. But what you can see very well too in this clump here is, even though when they're not in bloom anymore, they give a lot of structure because the foliage is like swords, kind of like spikes coming out of your border. So really interesting, not only for color, but also for structure that bearded iris provide in your garden. The next bearded iris that I want to show you grows next to the driveway. It's very windy. Not only today, the forecast is very promising that it stays windy. So showing the bearded iris is like now or never. This variety is called Dusky Challenger. And the beauty about it is again a tall variety. The single blooms are massive. I think these are the biggest blooms that I have on all bearded iris that I grow in my garden. And what is really intriguing too is, if I just come in with my hand now so you can see it better, they are unicolor. The entire bearded iris is picture perfect purple. Even the beard just a little bit silvery towards the center. They are scented again, which makes them incredibly wonderful for your garden. And I think they look fantastic planted with a rose rugosa here. So you have this pure perfect purple in combination with the white from the rose, and the white from the rose again works so well with the bluish silverish foliage of the iris. So definitely one of my favorite, very vigorous, tall variety. The next two bearded iris are growing next to the terrace and just next to this urn, which is a really wonderful sight. They are growing here underneath the wisteria, which was a really beautiful display. So if you want to see how this entire area looked just a couple of days ago, please go and visit my Instagram. The link is down below this video, because I really managed to make quite a nice photo with the evening sun in the backdrop. All the colors, they really seem to glow. These are two varieties in different colors, and actually they were planted accidentally next to another, but now that I see it, I quite like it like this because they are so different. The first one is Splash of Raspberry. It really has a perfect raspberry color, which has a little touch of orange towards the center. So the beard is orange, then a little whitish marking, but the entire single iris actually really looks raspberry. It is a tall variety, it produces a lot of blooms, and it is pretty long flowering. The next variety, that is called a Tacoma, and again it has two different colors combined together. It has a fall with white, and then the outline is in purple with a purple marking, and then the standards, they are pure violet, the beard is yellow and orange. This variety produces nice flowers, a lot of flowers, but the flowers don't last that long. This is the only thing that you have to know when you want to plant this variety, but still, I think in combination they look really beautiful, especially with the purple petunias in the urn, and now just imagine with the wisteria, with these really beautiful cascade of violet blooms just above it. It was a wonderful combination. What you can see too, by the way, is look at my wonderful lawn. There is no rain at all at the moment, and this is how it looks. But the bearded iris, they clearly love this weather. That's it from me, my garden, and the bearded iris for today. I hope it was interesting and inspiring for you, and maybe I could even encourage you, try and grow at least one bearded iris in your own garden, because there is one thing that I know: there will be a color for each and every one of you, because the word iris originates in Greek language and actually means rainbow. And there truly is a rainbow of fun colors, so no excuse not to grow at least one variety in your own garden. All I can say now is thank you so much for watching today's video. I hope you had fun spending some time here in the garden with me. Thank you if you subscribe to my channel, if you give me a thumbs up to my videos, and I would honestly love to welcome you next time around with a lot of more fun projects in the garden, hopefully with a little less wind. So take care guys, bye.